The show can't start until we crack open a bottle of Revelton. Whether it's their crisp, clean vodka, the bold spice of their rye whiskey, the rich smoothness of bourbon, or the original honey whiskey that started it all, every pour is a taste of craft and passion straight from the heart of Iowa. So pour yourself a drink, settle in, and get ready to relax, laugh, and enjoy the show.
Hey, it's Andrew Downs. I'm proud to support Three Beers Media, and I would love to work with you. If you need merchandise for your company, organization, band, softball team, whatever, I can help. From name brand apparel to promotional items, large orders or small, online stores, and more, I can help your brand stand out. AKC Marketing is local, based in Johnston, and we are an employee-owned business, so our costs are low and our turnaround times are fast. But most importantly, we give you personal service to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. Email me at andrew@akcmarketing.com or find me on social media and let's make some cool stuff together. Now sit back and enjoy this Three Beers Media podcast.
From the top of Keenan, kill the roar so loud. Black and gold waving, we're a fearless crowd. Under them lights, the fight burns bright. Greatest team assembled, ready for the fight. We stand tall, we stand true. Every game, every play, got the Hawkeye view. Legends rise, and we all knew that the black and gold's coming straight for you. From the Hawk's eye view, see the whole state rise. With a heart so strong and fire in our eyes. On the field, on the court, in the stands, we shine. The best in the game, and the state is mine. Cover Hawkeyes, rockin', about to break that glass. Dropping dimes, hitting threes, never second guess. Full court hustle, hit the sneaker side. With the fight in our veins, we red at pride. We stand tall, we stand true. Every game, every play, got the Hawkeye view. Legends rise, and we all knew that the black and gold's coming straight for you. From the Hawk's eye view, see the whole state rise.
All right. Good evening. We are back and ready for another episode of Hawk's Eye View here. So, Drew, how's it going tonight?
It's going super busy. Had our first coaches meeting for fall football this afternoon. We got CPR training tomorrow, and then like full blown practice starts on Monday. So pretty pumped for that. Jonathan's 11th birthday is today, so we're celebrating that as well.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. 5th grade, man.
Awesome. Happy birthday.
School's already started here, Andrew. I know it doesn't in Iowa for quite some time, but
Yeah.
a couple weeks anyway. So we got that going on. What else we got going on? Made a quick trip to Iowa last week. Did the Iowa State Fair on last Friday. Drove back south to Kansas City to home, our new-ish home, I guess. I don't know. Made a stop at Revelton Distillery. Noticed the new commercial there at the beginning. Who gets so mad pouring bourbon? Like, I mean, I felt like it was very aggressive pour, and then like the cubes at the end was like aggressive. It felt a little aggressive. However, the Simple Majority, which is a mix of rye, a mix of rye whiskey. Hey, Heath, I'll tell the little man you said happy birthday. Appreciate that. Simple Majority is 51% rye whiskey, 49% whatever the other one is. So I guess Rob had a history in politics in the state of Iowa. I did not know this. But it's a really cool red, white, and blue bottle. It's very tasty.
That is interesting.
It has a double flavor profile. It starts with something. It starts as something and it changes at the very end. It's pretty unique. I really like it. But beautiful facility down there, Andrew, as you know.
Yeah.
I told Chris Shipley that I felt like it was like the house setting for Clue, the movie Clue. Have you seen that? Tim Curry.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
They give me very Clue vibes. High ceilings, very like I don't know. I guess it was a mix between like a barn and like a cathedral. Like, I don't know. It's hard to describe the place, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great place. If you haven't been to Rebels and Distillery, go check it out. It's an awesome place to hang out
Absolutely.
anytime. So I'm not going to pretend to know anything about whiskey flavors when you're describing how the flavor changes and all that. I'm not going to pretend to know anything about that.
That's fair.
What I will pretend to know about is Iowa sports, Iowa Hawkeye sports. I will pretend to know
You
something.
will pretend to know that?
Yes, I will pretend to know that.
That's why we're paid the big bucks, Andrew.
Yeah, we also get paid the big bucks because we did a full season preview episode on Iowa football and didn't mention tight ends once. We noticed that last week.
You know what? After you said that, it made me realize actually something that you know how many catches Luke Lachey had in the 2024 football season?
15.
Actually, about double that. I think it was 36.
Okay.
But for somebody that we thought would be, the next heir apparent All-American tight end, university tight end, I'm wondering if the tight end position is not a featured outlet for Tim Lester offense. Like, is that fair? I mean, obviously Luke Lachey is a threat, and to only get him the ball 30 plus times in the whole season when, I mean, there were hopes that he could be an All-American in his 5th year. I don't know, man. Like,
some of that is on the quarterback play of last year. A lot of that is actually, I would say. So I'm going to hold off on saying tight ends aren't a feature of the Lester offense because we need more evidence. I know that the Lester offense is kind of like, the way it's been explained to me is an amalgamation of Shanahan and the 49ers, LaFleur and the Packers, McVay and the Rams. The Packers use the tight ends quite a bit. So do the 49ers. They use their tight ends well also. So yeah. The Rams are probably the ones that don't out of those three. They do different things with Puka Nacua, who functions in some of those ways that a tight end would. So I think it's just a matter of how the personnel that we had last year and how it was utilized.
I mean that's fair. Look at the tight end heavy classes that the University of Iowa had with, Henry Krieger-Coble, George Kittle, Noah Fant, like those kind of seasons. Like, I don't think any of them had like 40 plus catch seasons.
They probably did. Yeah, but I think there's going to be a bigger emphasis on wide receivers, obviously, in the Lester offense.
As long as the team gets first downs, Andrew, I really don't care where the ball goes.
Touchdowns is what we're going for.
Touchdowns.
Yeah, we're going for touchdowns, man. So, but we'll mention it. Ostrenga and Ortworth are probably the guys that are going to play the most. After that, DJ Voname, who was a walk-on, is now on scholarship, will probably be that third guy. Hopefully we're not going that deep. But Ortworth looked good last year because he played a bit last year after Ostrenga got hurt, actually. So I think they want to use more two tight ends this year. So we'll see that a little bit more on offense. But we'll see plenty of one tight end, 3 wide receivers. That's kind of going to be the base setup of the Iowa offense this year. So, all right, Kids Day reaction. As the episode says, I did not go. But I watched plenty of video. I read plenty of notes. I have a lot of things that I heard here. We saw a couple deep balls from Mark Gronowski. We saw deep balls from all the quarterbacks, actually. We saw them all complete deep balls. Hank Brown looked impressive, especially a back shoulder touchdown that he threw to Reese Vanderzee like right away. Looked awesome. That was a real emphasis of this practice, this Kids Day practice, was they were really trying to throw the ball downfield. I like that. And they were doing so with some success. So I like that as well. There's not a ton that you can glean from these things, right, Drew? We got to see live action like we've talked about. I think the willingness to go downfield that all the quarterbacks showed is just kind of more proof that that's what Tim Lester wants to do. That's something that he really wants to be a part of the offense, which is good. We've been missing that for years, and it seems like we have personnel to do so. So that's kind of my main takeaway on offense there.
So I guess my initial question, Andrew, is the success from going deep on offense. Do you know what the scenarios were set up like? Were they ones versus ones? Were they
out
team versus ones, and then vice versa for defense? Like, what was the setup?
It was kind of the ones, right? In these scenarios, there's a lot of guys out, like specifically TJ Hall and Jalen Watson, who are two of the top three corners, didn't practice. So we were running out there with Deshaun Lee as corner one, and Barros and Rashad Godfrey. So there's some of that out there. But commonly, the common theme out of a lot of these Kids Day things is that the offenses look putrid, right? The defense is years ahead of the offense. And there was still plenty of success by the defense, but there is success by the offense too, against a defense that knows exactly what's coming because they've seen it already, because fall camp's been going on.
Right.
You know? So in these kinds of scenarios, it's hard to glean a lot, especially on the offense, because the defense is so far ahead of the offense in this kind of a scenario, because they kind of know what's coming in a lot of situations. So I think, you got to take everything here with a grain of salt. You can't just say, oh man, Iowa's going to be this great deep passing team. I just think for me, it's more so the willingness and the success that we've seen in practice clips that to me signals they're going to try to do that. Gronowski's putting up some 50-50 balls right there and trusting his receivers to go get it. And guys like Vanderzee and Seth Anderson are going and getting it. So that's good, because we haven't had the quarterbacks that try to do that. We haven't had the receivers that try to go get it.
Sure.
That's something new that we haven't seen in a long time. So,
again, backtracking to the fact that I want to see this in live ball against a different opponent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like you said, going into last week's episode, they're only going to show us what they want us to see, right? Like, I look at it as like a politician campaign, right? We want to see downfield passes complete. We want to see different wrinkles that the offense hasn't shown in 2 decades. We want to see this, that, the other. Hype up the fan base, stuff like that, like what we actually get, come September might not necessarily look like that, but like you said, the willingness, let's see a real opponent on the other side of the ball and see if we're actually going to take those chances in game scenarios, not just kind of like I don't want to call it a false facade, but I want to call it, you know what I mean? Like you want to show the crowd there something to be excited about.
Yeah. I think it's good that we're trying to show that. That's just where I'm coming from.
Sure.
Another thing is the offense is probably working. They were working primarily out of shotgun, right? We weren't looking at a lot of under center stuff. And they were working primarily out of the pocket. So I think they were really trying to get the quarterbacks to develop in the pocket. But a big part of Gronowski's game is he can throw on the run. And so we'll see him kind of escape that pocket and make throws on the run and make plays on the run that we haven't seen before too. So to me, it was good signal that he can make plays from the pocket, but he can also make plays on the run because we have seen that in his career. So he's going to be doing that at Iowa. And so again, that's just another element of things. That's why I think it was vanilla, but the passing game had success. Like you compare it to last year, Mark Gronowski looks like a Heisman contender compared to Cade McNamara last year. You know, not saying that he is, but he looks like that.
Sure.
So, and again, encouraging that Hank Brown had a bad spring, having a great fall camp. Hecklinski came in the summer, having a great fall camp, showing some things right away. So like we said last week, going to be a great battle next year between those two. The other thing was Moulton and Washington were out. Patterson played a little bit. We got to see Xavier Williams run with the ones. A lot of people are excited about him. And we got to see true freshman Nathan McNeil, who apparently is lightning fast and also strong. People are throwing out Akram Wadley comparisons, but he's bigger than Wadley. And it sounds like as a true freshman, he might be too good to keep off the field. So we might see a true freshman running back that we didn't even mention in last week's episode. I knew he existed, but I didn't think he would play at all. I thought he was for sure going to redshirt, but if we see him and he shows real flashes, I mean, I think this running back room is very deep, man. Because I like Moulton. I like what Patterson does. I like what Washington can do. And the things that I've heard about Williams and McNeil, it's not like we need them, but it sounds like we have the guys there. If somebody goes down, it sounds like we aren't going to miss a beat, really, on offense from the running back spot.
Well, the good news about redshirting in football, though, is you can play up to 4 games without losing your red shirt, right? So, I mean, a third of the season really, like you said, if it comes down to it, like you need somebody to plug and play, they can go do that. Or you just let them run, rough shot and then the non-con and see what happens. Get them some carries, get them some real life gameplay, perhaps in the second half of some of these lower tier non-con games where should be well in hand, right?
Right.
Play them up to 4 games, so you might as well, I think.
Yeah. Another thing that is coming out here, like in Kirk talking to the media this weekend and also on Monday, he's kind of approaching this with a lot more air of confidence than I've heard him approach it with before. Like he's speaking with a lot of confidence about the offense, about his quarterback, about Kirk's never going to come out and say, yeah, we're going to be great. He's not going to puff his chest out, beat his chest or anything like that. But usually he talks about how much they have to work on and there's a lot of things they have to clean up. And we aren't hearing that kind of talk from him. about the offense. We are hearing Gronowski's a great leader. He makes the right plays. He makes the right decisions. We're hearing a lot of that kind of talk. So Kirk's got a confidence, I think, that we haven't seen in quite some time. It's just a little note to file away there, Drew. Just interesting to me.
It was definitely more positive comments coming out of this Kids Day than last. I mean, even like I can't remember what show I was listening to earlier this week where Kirk Ferentz was kind of like, "Oh yeah, this is where we expected Cade McNamara to be at this point in the season." Like he wasn't surprised by a 7 for 21 for what was it, like 19 yards and a couple picks or whatever in last year's Kids Day when he was just awful. Is that what he was? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that, man. It was bad.
And there was some post-practice comments of like, yeah, that's where we expected Cade McNamara to be at this point in the season. Like, so you're saying quarterback play this season is going to suck?
Yeah.
You know, he was kind of non-committal, but it sounds like his comments this go around is more positive and more pointed towards more constructive feedback, I guess.
Yeah. Also, kind of something that piqued my interest too was the BTN guys. The way that they were talking about Iowa was different because so they visited Iowa and then they visited Wisconsin. So I kind of compared the way they talked about Wisconsin versus the way they talked about Iowa. There's kind of like with Wisconsin, there was kind of quotes from the BTN guys of, well, this is the hope. This is the hope. Or with Iowa, there's a lot more declaration of like Dave Revson saying the offensive line is going to be elite. They're back to being elite. Jake Butt saying Mark Gronowski is as dynamic of a quarterback as he can remember.
He also called Iowa tight end to you.
Yeah, and he's from Michigan. So that should tell you something. Let's see, Lester said that his 3 best linemen on the team returned. And he's calling in those 3, he's saying Logan Jones, Dunker, and Cade Pieper. So he's saying that Cade Pieper is better than Colby or Richmond, who both got drafted. So we have at least 3 guys that are going to be drafted. So saying that the offensive line is going to be elite, though, that kind of catches my attention because I feel like when Iowa's at their best, right, Drew, it's when the offensive line and the defensive line are good.
Absolutely.
Those are both perceived strengths of the team this year. Both perceived strengths. Wide receiver group is by far the most improved group on the team. So, again, that just kind of lines up with what we've heard from Chad Lysico, Scott Docterman, David Eichholt, Sean Bach, all those guys and others that I'm not mentioning. They've talked about how the receivers have kind of stepped up. So I think that's all just lining up for me too. But people outside the program are saying it too.
Yeah, that's big.
So,
I mean, a non-football related note, Aaron Graves' girlfriend / fiance is expecting. So like they're expecting a child and getting married after the season. That what I understood from the Monday coverage. I had no idea first off he had a girlfriend, let alone expecting. So good for him. That's exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. And he's going to develop dad strength. So he's going to get even stronger.
Yeah.
He's going to be developing dad strength as the season goes along. So best of luck to his opponents.
That's right.
That was some really good stuff that I took away. And yeah, the BTN guys raved about Nathan McNeil. So did Kirk Ferentz. He said that he's impressed all of us. So Kirk was some high praise for a true freshman there.
I was reading that Reese Dakin was booting bombs from his own 5-yard line to the opposing 15-yard line.
Oh, yeah. If it's a nice day like it was on Kids Day, if the weather conditions are ripe, he's going to bomb a 60-yarder in a game this year.
Oh,
easily.
Yeah, for sure.
He's going to bomb a 60 net yard punt. Hopefully we have the coverage.
Yeah.
We'll be okay there. I feel like LeVar Woods is always going to figure that out, so I'm not too worried about that. But one thing that I got wrong last week, I kept saying that Xavier Nwankpa is switching to strong safety. No, he's switching to free safety.
Oh,
That's where he naturally played in high school.
all right.
And I think Cohen Entringer is going to start at the cash. Cohen Entringer has been making a lot of plays. I think he's going to be a guy that makes a lot of plays. I think Kids Day, the BTN coverage, just everything that I've heard has just reinforced that. Lutmer, I didn't realize this, but he's going to play strong safety, but I didn't realize that he's like 6 feet tall, which is a little bit tall for a strong safety. I don't really think of it that way because I think of it in like basketball height for some reason.
Right.
But shout out to the A&F podcast guys. Have you heard of them?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, they follow us, so shout out to them. But I was listening to their season preview, and they were talking about Lutmer and saying that he has like a 40-inch vert and is 6 feet tall. And some of his basketball highlights remind you of Cooper DeJean, but they were pointing out that Lutmer, Nwankpa, Entringer, they all have pretty good coverage skills. That's actually what they're all three kind of known for, is their coverage skills. Entringer is probably more of the hard hitter, which is why the cash is probably better for him.
Right.
So I think that's interesting to me too, because it sounds like our safety group is probably going to be one of the more athletic safety groups that we've had in a while. No offense to Castro or Schulte. Those guys got the most out of their talent, but they weren't maybe the athletes that Lutmer and Entringer are. So, or X at the free safety can be more athletic, rely more on his athleticism there. So, I don't know. That seems like something that's encouraging to me too, Drew.
Well, going into the season preview last week, I mean, that was the position group that we were concerned with the most on the defensive side of the ball, right? So, hearing that it sounds like that we are more athletic at those positions where we need to be the most athletic on the field, if arguably. So it sounds like we have better athletes there, is what you're saying, and
yeah,
I think that's good. I think that's good because we're gonna see a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball to keep everything in front.
Well, Phil Parker, if you remember last year during the BTN thing, he talked about how he was concerned about the secondary and the corners, and we all poo-pooed it because we said, Phil, you're just trying to motivate them, and it turned out that Phil was right, that there was some concern there. But this year he said something of like he is very excited about the potential of his secondary. So to me, that means that kind of as the season progresses, this unit's going to get better and better. Kind of as the season goes on, they may start at a certain point that we as fans maybe don't like. But it seems like we have guys that are going to figure it out as the season goes on. And by the end of the year, should be a lot better. So that's
I'll take improvement from beginning to end. That's for sure.
yeah. We didn't see that last year. We saw kind of drop off.
Maybe even regression as the season went on.
Yeah, I would say there was definitely some regression there. But we've heard a lot about the progression of Entringer and TJ Hall specifically. And then we've heard about how X is a lot more comfortable at free safety. We still have the question of the other corner. And that's kind of where we're at and where we're going to probably be at for most of the season defensively.
Sure.
So, left tackle. That's kind of the one big thing I skipped over. Trevor Lauk started. It sounds like Trevor Lauk is the slight favorite. Has kind of pushed away for the job right now, with Jack Dotzler kind of right behind him. And so this is Trevor Lauk's first year as a left tackle at the college level, starting at the college level. I think we're going to see he's going to get the first crack at it. I'll be interested to kind of see how long of a leash he gets, Drew. I think that's going to be something to watch kind of all season, is if he struggles at all, are they going to pull him right away? Who are they going to shift out there? Are they going to put Dotzler in? Or are they going to shift Bryce George? It's kind of the other guy that's been thrown out there. I really don't know. So I think that's going to be something to monitor all season.
Those early season games, I don't know if it's just me or I'm missing it, but I don't see a lot of replacement of personnel in the middle of the game, barring injury. Like, I feel like if they've been inserted at kickoff, if they are healthy, they will play 60 minutes. Like, I don't know if I've seen offensive line specifically have been just outright replaced mid-game.
We kind of flexed Nick DeYoung in a little bit last year in certain spots at guards. We have some of that with George too.
Okay.
We also feel good about Lighton Jones. So when Bo Stevens is back, we kind of have backup options at the guard spots that we feel good about. The problem, I think, is going to be left tackle. And I think against Albany and UMass, that's probably when we're going to see them maybe split some time with Lauk and Dotzler. Maybe.
I mean, that would be the time to evaluate, I think.
That's what they're going to do. But I think against Iowa State in week 2, they're probably going to pick one of the guys and go with it for the whole game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you say, you don't want to be rotating offensive linemen. But for the most part, for 4 of the 5, we won't be rotating anybody. If the 4 other guys are healthy, they're all out there.
Yeah.
The whole game. So, defensive line as good as advertised, causing a lot of problems for the offense with 4, which is good news.
That is good news.
Yeah. So, one thing that I didn't realize last year is that Llewellyn and Herkett played a lot of snaps because we just didn't have the depth behind them. We didn't have the depth to cover that and keep those guys fresh.
Yeah.
This year, I think we have more guys who are ready. And we brought in a couple of transfer defensive linemen on the interior there too. We can go 8-9 deep and feel good about it. I think that's going to be something to watch because we couldn't get pressure late in the year because Llewellyn and Herkett had played 80+% of the snaps.
Right.
Which is not common at the college level anymore. Like, you have to go deep if you're gonna have a sustained pass rush with 4 guys, which we need.
Right. You got to get fresh gassed folks in there on obvious passing downs, get pressure to the quarterback 100%.
Yeah. So that's going to be kind of a big storyline to watch. All right. Drew, you got anything else that you heard about Kids Day or anything like that you want to bring up?
I don't think so. No.
All right. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more and then we'll wrap it up.
Making great tasting bourbon requires the perfect combination of ingredients, conditions, and time. The longer it rests, the better it tastes. Revelton Distillery's new single barrel bourbon is made from 80% corn sourced 100% from Iowa farmers. And unlike mass-produced bourbons, each barrel of Revelton's single barrel bourbon is unique, proofed on when it tastes best. As they like to say, it'll be ready when it's ready. And to ensure the highest standards of quality and flavor, owners Rob and Christy Taylor oversee the production and bottling. Every single barrel. Iowa born, Iowa aged, Iowa bottled. Try the new single barrel bourbon from Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com. Whether you're buying, selling, or refinancing your home, or if it's simply time to renovate the one you're already living in, you need an experienced mortgage professional to help you analyze your financing options and to make sure the closing goes smoothly. And that's exactly what you get when you call Kyle Lehman at Wintrust Mortgage. Kyle's experience and expertise, coupled with Wintrust's rates and programs, ensures you'll get the mortgage that's right for you. You may even qualify for down payment assistance. Before you reach out to a realtor, call Kyle and get pre-qualified, empowering you to start shopping for the home of your dreams. Call Kyle at 515-473-0546. Kyle Lehman Wintrust Mortgage, 515-473-0546. In 2023, a crack Green Beret named Dan Douglas retired his military command and promptly escaped to a full-time career in real estate. Today, this man is wanted by home buyers and sellers who want to survive the process without spending a fortune. If you have a home to sell or want to buy one, maybe you can hire Dan Douglas at Green Beret Realty. You can find him at greenberetrealty.com. greenberetrealty.com.
All right. Welcome back in, Drew. And sorry, had a little technical difficulty with the ads there.
We're still in the preseason. We're still in
Yeah,
camp.
I'm in preseason mode. I apologize, everybody. Trying to get it back into a regular season mode. Even we got to go through fall camp in the podcasting world. So that's where we're at. One other note I wanted to touch on defensively, linebacker Carson Sherrar and Jaden Harrell. I think Carson Sherrar looks really good, is what I've been told. Jaden Harrell's done an adequate job, so that's going to be kind of another spot to kind of watch all year. So we talked about that in our season preview. I think the questions kind of remain after this weekend. Those questions will probably remain for most of the season, Drew. I think there will be. That's kind of going to be a spot, again, like we talked about with cornerback 2, left tackle, and the linebackers. Those are kind of going to be question marks that are going to have to be answered as kind of the season goes on.
Yeah, I'm not wildly positive about the word adequate at linebacker at the University of Iowa, but I mean,
if you're gonna pick a spot to be weak in football, I think linebacker is probably the spot where you can get away with it the most.
I mean, if you're talking about the 3 levels, sure.
Yes.
But it's just not something that we're accustomed to as Iowa fans. of having I'm not going to use the word substandard. Average.
We're not used to a linebacking unit that isn't just phenomenal. I'm not saying the guys currently on the roster can't get there. Maybe they can. Maybe they'll do something that impresses us during the season. But maybe they'll be just good enough for this defense to play well as a unit, and that's fine.
Yep.
That's fine. They don't need to be individual studs and NFL prospects necessarily for us to get back. And also, Seth Wallace didn't want to go after a linebacker in the transfer portal. He said,
"That's interesting."
He's a great linebackers coach. A lot of the credit for all the linebackers that we think about when we think about Iowa linebackers of the recent past all goes to him. So if he's confident in his guys that he has on campus, I think we got to roll with it at this point.
Yep. I just need to see some live football, man. I mean, we're getting so close. We're getting so close.
I know we are only 17 days out from Iowa football. Only. But it's going to feel like the longest 17 days of our lives.
Yeah.
So this time of year kind of always does.
What did you think? Sorry, I kind of wanted to shift gears on you. Just, I don't know, maybe blindsiding you. AP poll came out this week. Any surprises, disappointments?
Can we ban these? Can
the
we just
preseason
ban
polls?
all these preseason polls? Can we just get rid of them?
I mean, there was a good point on the Monday Murph and Andy show from Iowa Everywhere, where by and large, these preseason polls, you're going to see teams in the top 10 be unranked at the end of the year. You're going to see teams that are in the top 10 that aren't ranked at all, maybe at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But by and large, the national champion has been in one of the top 6 of the AP top 10 poll, top 25 poll. I don't know, like forever since college football playoff expanded.
Yeah, since the college football playoff started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the top 6 AP top 6 teams has won the championship. So, I mean, it's been a pretty good predictor of the champion. But all the nonsense to get there, the parody that makes college football great. I mean, I don't want to mess with it. So, like, I'm good with the poll. It gets something to talk about. I don't agree with somehow Iowa is 41st when you're talking about others in the behind Army, behind Navy, which, I mean, I love Army, so I'm good with that. But Nebraska, like some of the programs that are in front of Iowa, it makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Programs that we have owned over the last 10 years. Yeah.
I think Wisconsin even ahead of them in there?
Wow. If that's true, that is just, I haven't looked that deep.
I'd have to look at the other vote section again, but yeah. There's some teams in there that have no business being ahead of Iowa, but whatever. I mean, Iowa goes and proves it on the field, or they don't, So, yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of positive things going into the season, and we'll see how it shakes out. Like we did in our preseason preview. If they do what they think we're going to, if they do what we think they're going to do, they start the season 6-0, going into Penn State, right? So let's see what happens at that point.
Yeah. Another podcast I listen to that does previews for every college football team, SGPN. I don't know if you've heard of these, the sports gambling.
I have not heard this one, no.
They're friends of Rob Donaldson. If you've heard of Rob Donaldson, who's been on KXNO, and
I have.
Yeah, they're interesting to listen to. They do previews of all 136 FBS teams. They did one on Iowa. I listened to it, and one of them's a West Virginia fan, and the other one is, I believe, a Penn State fan. Penn State guy had us going 10-2, beating Penn State and Oregon at home. And the other one had us going 9-3, but also beating Penn State and Oregon at home. They both had us losing to Rutgers. They
Man,
posted.
that's a weird, the East Coast swing on a Friday. That's a Friday night game that we talked about previously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ugly.
But would you be cool with that kind of a thing? Losing to Rutgers, losing to Iowa State? If it means home wins against Penn State and Oregon, because as they put it, and I guess they didn't really realize this, kind of with how the scheduling breaks, if we beat both Penn State and Oregon, and Indiana, there's a kind of a scenario where we could end up in the Big Ten championship there because we would hold some tiebreakers.
The Big Ten is just so big now, Andrew. Who knows how it's going to pan out? Like USC out. Does USC rebound under Lincoln Riley?
Right.
What does Michigan look like this year?
Well,
I expect them to rebound. I mean, they're not going to be a 7-5, 6-6 team again. I don't think.
I expect Washington to be pretty good, and I think that a lot of that is based off of Washington's schedule. So
Iowa had that kind of schedule in 2015, right? That just lined up perfectly. Never played anybody. Yeah, we played in the Big Ten West, sure, but that's just you play who's on the schedule. That's how it worked out. It's not like they It's not like they ducked teams on purpose. It was just how they built the schedule. So,
but yeah, we talked about this. We have a tough schedule, but all the toughest games primarily at home.
Sure.
So that is one thing that we have going for us. So if we have it going at home this year, we could see some big upsets. But they were very confident about Iowa beating Oregon. They were actually saying there's no way Oregon comes into Iowa and wins.
That would be interesting for sure. But
yeah.
Hey, give me about 90 seconds, buddy. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Anyways, I'm just saying there's getting to be some noise, some positive hype outside of the program. That's something that I don't know quite how to deal with there, but I love it. People who know college football are talking up Hawks, talking up Gronowski. So my hype meter is raised to the roof. But yeah. Maybe we can shift gears a little bit, Drew. I don't know if you can hear me. Drew had to step away for just a little bit. But we can't ignore basketball season. Basketball season's going to be coming up here. Some summer workouts and stuff just kind of wrapped up. And sounds like the Iowa men's team is just working on some things. They're putting in a lot of good work in the weight room. I think that's something that is different from the Fran McCaffrey area. They're really trying to put more of an emphasis on that in their diet. That's just going to be something to watch kind of as the years progress in the Ben McCollum era, is how do guys develop physically, because we're going to see them develop in that way. I know that Coach McCollum has invested a lot into the strength and conditioning program. So that's, that's interesting. Drew, I don't know if you could hear me. You're back.
I am back.
I don't know if you could hear me at all. I shifted gears a little bit. We're talking a little bit of men's basketball offseason chatter. Was just kind of opining on, sounds like strength and conditioning has been a big emphasis this summer for the team, and diet and all those kinds of things. They brought in Logan Ogden, who I believe was working with Utah previously as a strength and conditioning coach. And so they brought him in to be Iowa's strength and conditioning coach. I didn't even know we had a strength and conditioning coach under the previous regime. I don't know if we did. So that's just something that I heard kind of from the chatter that's been going on about Iowa basketball this offseason, is that emphasis has been huge for this team. They're putting a big emphasis on the physical aspect of basketball.
Those are interesting words when you're talking about Iowa basketball, right? Because you think the Fran McCaffrey era of finesse basketball, shooting, I don't know, just finesse and shooting, I guess, for lack of defense. I'm not, like you said, like I'm not sure who the strength and conditioning person was under Fran McCaffrey, but I didn't see much strength built over the courses of people that were there 3-4 years.
Right.
And then, Fran loved to play 9-10 fucking people. So, like, what did we know about conditioning other than, the Murray twins recently? I don't know, Bohannon, I guess, because you had to have him out there. He was your best shooter, perimeter-wise. So, I mean, yeah, I'm not sure how much that position was utilized under the Fran McCaffrey era. But I guess I've heard comments from, what was it, Cooper Koch was saying is not familiar with puking at practice under Ben McCollum, something along the lines of that.
Yeah,
I've heard in the last month or two, which is good. I mean, it's a mentality, it's culture, it's resetting the standard of what it's going to take to win with the previous D2 dogs, may I say?
Plus some notable additions. Hausen, Fulgaris, mainly among those.
Yeah.
Also, a guy that's that might play a little right away as a true freshman. There's actually a couple. Trevin Urick from Valley, the 6'11" kid that was going to go to UNI, might play. Sounds like he's, speaking of physical conditioning, sounds like he's put in a lot of really good work on transforming his body and getting it ready for Big Ten play. And it sounds like Tate Sage, who was kind of a late addition in the recruiting class as a freshman, kind of came in a little bit more college ready. And then we landed Trey Thompson. I don't know if we talked about this yet, but
I don't think so. This just happened like last week, right? 4-star?
Not last week. It was more like a month or so ago. But we beat out Purdue for Trey Thompson, Purdue and some others. And he chose to enroll early as well. And he's 6'8", 6'9" guy who can shoot, handle the ball.
So tell me what choosing to enroll early means for the squad or for the player, Andrew. What does that necessarily mean? Does it mean he's eligible sooner?
Yeah, he basically forgoed his senior high school year to be a college freshman.
And that has happened around Iowa college sports recently as well, right? I think Iowa State had a player or two that did that. Iowa
Riley Mulvey did that, but this is different, Drew. This guy is more highly touted, shall we say. He was top 50 if he remained where he was. He was a top 50 recruit. He's still like a top 100 guy when he bumps up a class. This is a different breed of recruit. This is a good recruiting battle for Ben McCollum to win right off the jump, not even having played a game yet. He won a recruiting battle against Matt Painter. So that's a good sign. There's also a lot.
Since you brought his name up, is there a more overrated program and coach than Purdue and Matt Painter? How many fucking times are they going to be in the top 5 and then not get to a Final Four?
Well, prepare for it again this year. They're the top rated team in a lot of people's book.
Yeah.
So
and they won't make the Final Four either. So,
well, they did that 1 year with Edey. They did make the championship. But
he put him on his back. That whole fucking team. Yeah.
Yeah, but
don't get me wrong. Braden Smith
is a well-balanced team.
Braden Smith is the truth, though. Don't get me wrong. I think this is one of the more talented Purdue squads, but the proof is not proof is not in the pudding. You know, the results.
It is. Trust me, Purdue is going to be bonkers this year. But we'll keep it on Iowa. It's all right. Sounds like they're kind of working with Howard on handling the ball. Isaiah Howard. That's kind of the next step in his development, is being able to handle the ball, being able to catch and shoot consistently. Sounds like Howson's been great in that regard. He's been awesome. There's plenty of shooting on this team. I think you're going to see a lot more scoring than you did with the Driggs squad. Just a lot more scoring. There's going to be a nicer pace with this team offensively.
It's not going to be such a grind.
It's not going to be a grind. No, because on that Drake team, the only shooters you had were Sturts and Mascari. Well, this year, the only non-shooters you kind of have are Banks and Munio on the Iowa squad. Everybody else is a shooter. Some kind of a shot.
Watching that Drake team last year, that was kind of charming watching him grind it out like that, though. Like what they did to Missouri in that first round, and I was there. I mean, just wore them the F down, man. Like it was just beautiful to watch. Intense basketball.
Right. They're still going to be capable of doing that. But I think they're going to be capable of putting the ball in the basket too. And I think it's going to be a good thing. I don't know if I can say too much, maybe. But I was doing their research with the guy who just got cleared to play his final year of basketball. He had to go for a waiver to get one more year of basketball. And
why?
He played 5 games as a freshman at Chicago State, and he needed to get the fact that he played 5 games as a freshman cleared with the NCAA, essentially. So
you can redshirt with 4 football games out of 12, but 5 basketball games out of 30, you need permission?
Apparently. Apparently, Drew.
Make it make sense.
I don't know. I'd have to do some more digging on the situation there. But if it sounds like there's some mutual interest there, it's kind of an interesting time to be adding someone to the team. But this team kind of needs another guard wing combo kind of player, or they could use one. And that's exactly what this guy would be. And he's also a Missouri Valley guy. So he would be. The staff has some familiarity with him. He wasn't on the Drake squad, but
Sure.
the staff has some familiarity with him too. So keep an eye out for that. It's just an interesting time too, because like all the NIL money for college basketball has basically been spent. So it's not like this guy's going to have to find the right fit for him, because the right fit for him to shine in his final year, because
I mean, are there a lot of interested parties? Do you know, like what's like the prospects?
I don't know any of that yet. But there could be plenty of interested parties, I think. I think there could be a lot of teams of Iowa's caliber that would be interested in a guy like this. So
Okay.
that is I'm not saying we're going to get this guy, but if we do, it'll just kind of add to the depth of this year's squad. So in a good way, and it will probably provide a little bit of that scoring punch off the bench, maybe.
Okay.
Or he could start. It depends on what McCollum would want to do, but I could see him coming off the bench and kind of being an instant offense off the bench kind of guy. That would help this team out tremendously, I think.
I mean, there's so many.
But
I mean, just the construction of this 2025-2026 basketball team is just fascinating to me, and I want to see how it's all put together over 40 minutes. Like, I just want to see, just like football, really. Like, I just want to see how it gels, what the ceiling can look like, what the floor can look like. I mean, Andy Katz, like I said last week, had this team 15th in the power rankings of 18 in the Big Ten. That's nonsense.
yeah, especially when, I went back at him and said, it's only happened a few times in the Fran McCaffrey era. So if you think that Ben McCollum is a better coach than Fran McCaffrey, then that alone is enough to put him in the top half.
Yeah. You got
that alone. Not even factoring in anything else.
Yeah. You got a top 5 transfer portal point guard.
Yeah,
that alone, top 10.
If Fulgaris had let his recruitment go on, and if Howson had let their recruitments go on a little bit further, those guys would have been highly sought after too. They were, actually. In fact, the rumor is that Howson turned down a 7-figure deal with an SEC team to come to Iowa.
Oh.
So, because he thought Iowa was the best fit for him. So there's that. But yeah, I'm excited. There's a lot to be excited about. NFL Hawks. You want to talk NFL Hawks real quick?
NFL Hawks. Yeah, go ahead. There was a nice. I don't know what is the opposite. What is the football equivalent of posterizing a guy? Caleb Johnson posterized Travis Hunter last week. That was beautiful. Stiff arm right into the freaking grass.
Yeah, that was nice.
I would like to see what the futures look like on rookies of the year, because I bet Caleb Johnson's probably somewhere in the top 10 offensive rookie of the year.
Yep.
Cooper DeJean's looking to come off a good, come back to sophomore season. Hopefully there's not a slump there, but
I was going to talk the linebackers.
Well, please do.
The top 2 rated linebackers in preseason week 1 in terms of grade were Nick Jackson and Jay Higgins. The top 2.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they each had phenomenal games. They each had an interception for their respective squads. So
was this PFF rankings?
PFF grades, top 2, week 1. Nick Jackson and Jay Higgins. So
Yeah.
just wanted to throw that out there.
All right. Well, I
already...
tried to keep it with the rookies then. The Caleb Johnson stiff arm, that applied there.
Yep. So
Yeah.
those two guys looking to make a squad, doing well for themselves in week 1, going a long way towards maybe making the squad there.
Where are they playing respectively?
Tampa Bay for Nick Jackson, I think, and Baltimore for Jay Higgins.
That sounds like a good pairing for Jay Higgins, Baltimore.
Jay Higgins recorded an interception before TJ Tampa. TJ Tampa was what, a 3rd-round pick of the Ravens last year?
Yep.
Jay Higgins, undrafted linebacker out of Iowa, recorded an interception in the NFL before TJ Tampa. Mark it down.
Suck it.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Cy of the Storm and all the Iowa State people may be listening to this.
We're not sorry.
Yeah, okay, I'm not. All right. Women's basketball recruiting. We can touch on that briefly. McKenna Wolitzko is going to make a decision probably sometime in early September. And her last visit before she makes her decision is going to be Iowa. So read into that what you will. But it sounds like it's down to Iowa and South Carolina. And South Carolina just picked up 2 5-stars at her position. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. So McKenna Wolitzko, top 10 recruit in her class. Small forward, power forward type. Potentially coming to Iowa. Sounds like we're back in play for Jenica Lewis as well from Johnston. It sounded like we were out for a while and now we're back in.
Why was that?
It sounded like she was intrigued about going out of state for a while. But I don't know what recently changed. She was also very close with Raina Harmon, who left to be the head coach of Florida Gulf Coast. But I think with the new additions to the staff, I think potentially those newer people on the staff for Jan Jensen were able to contact Jenica, form a good connection, maybe get us back in that race there. So that'll be interesting. I hope that comes to fruition because she's a 5-star shooting guard as well. Would pair nicely next year with Addie Deal. So there's recruiting, but also looking forward to this year's women's team. It's going to be different again. But I think we're going to see a lot of young talent, Drew, this year for the women. Addie Deal and Layla Hayes, I think, are both kind of the 2 true freshmen that I think you're going to have to watch that are going to play a lot right away. Addie Deal specifically, but I think Layla Hayes is going to back up Ava Hayden. I think Ava Hayden's probably going to start next to Stolke. Deal. And then I don't know. Feuerbach is back. So probably Feuerbach. Maybe Chit Chat Right, the transfer from Georgia Tech. So then somehow you got to factor in Emily Rodriguez, who's like a guard forward combo. It's going to be an interesting year for the Iowa women. It's going to be, I also think there's the potential that you could go really big in certain scenarios with Hayden and Hayes, 6'5" and 6'7" on the court at the same time.
That'd be interesting. That would be interesting.
I think there's certain scenarios where you can or maybe should do it against certain teams.
Yep.
So that will be something to watch as well. But we'll do season previews on all those teams, but I wanted to kind of just drop some basketball notes in the bucket there.
Absolutely.
All right, Drew. Anything you got before we get out of here for the night?
There's nothing on the top of my tongue. No.
All right. Well, we will come back next week, Wednesday. I'll be honest, I don't know what we're going to talk about. Maybe we're going to get some more fall camp buzz. Maybe there will be some recruiting developments to talk about.
Maybe there'll be a 2-deep.
Oh, maybe there will. But also maybe we can start looking at Albany, getting locked in on Albany. Oh, baby, it's going to be no. Apparently what I heard today was Albany's coach left to be a defensive assistant at Penn State.
Oh.
And he left late in the game, and a lot of guys left as a result. So Albany is a program in turmoil. So not that they were some great team to begin with, but they're dealing with a lot of change.
We'll see. We'll see.
Early preview of the Albany game says you and I will be playing by the fourth quarter. We'll be suiting up. If we're near Iowa City, we could suit up.
Oh, God. Man, I don't think anybody wants that.
Nobody wants it, but it could happen. Oh, all right. Here we go. Seth Anderson's locked down the number 3 spot. So fire up the Seth Anderson hype train one more time.
One more time, baby.
Let's do it. It's real this time.
For about 6 quarters.
No, seriously, I do hope it's real this time because we've seen some good plays from him in practice.
I know.
It would be nice if it's very real this time. So,
yeah.
But I digress. With that said, thank you all for listening. Have a great night and go Hawks.
Talking football, talking hoops, every sport in between. I don't WA, yeah, you know what I mean. From a hawk's eye view, see the whole state rise. With a heart so strong and fire in our eyes. On the field, on the court, in the stands, we shine. The best in the game, yeah, the state is mine.